Good evening. My name is Lenore Lamb, and welcome to the public community meeting for the Dillon and the Blue Fires. This evening, we are being streamed on both the Klamath National Forest as well as the Six Rivers National Forest Facebook page. So if you do have any questions for tonight's meeting, you can post them on either page, and we will be picking those up and answering them at the end of the meeting. To give you some statistics for where the fires are at as of now, the Blue Fire is at 3,177 acres and 0% contained with 506 personnel. The Dillon Fire is 11,226 acres and 26% contained with 1,558 personnel. And with that, I would like to introduce our first speaker from the Six Rivers National Forest, Agency Administrator Donna Pepin.
Good evening, everyone. Donna Pepin, Agency Administrator Trainee. I work on the Six Rivers National Forest, but here representing both the Six Rivers and the Klamath National Forest today. So we continue to focus our efforts ensuring that our critical values are protected. And so with that, the communities around here are the most critical and are deemed the highest priority. I do want to remind folks that this is a full suppression fire. We are going as direct as possible when it is safe to do so, and trying to keep these fires to the smallest footprint possible. We also understand the importance of getting you all back in your homes, and the team is working very hard to do that. So thank you for your patience and your continued engagement while the team works to manage multiple dynamic fires.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James White. I'm the incident meteorologist assigned to the Dillon Blue Fires. My job here as the incident meteorologist is to provide very localized weather observations and forecasting. That is to ensure firefighter and public safety, and to both aid in tactical and strategic planning for the incident. Talking a little bit about the weather we have been experiencing over the past several days, we've generally been moderating. We were really hot and dry late last week. We had a lot of what's called instability in the atmosphere that was allowing for a lot of deep development of different smoke columns and different activity. Over the past couple days, we've generally moderated that behavior. That said, we've still had some weather intensification, if you want to call it that, in the form of thunderstorms that have formed over the fires today. We had several thunderstorms that moved east of the Blue Fire today, and also close here to the Log Fire out in the wilderness. Those thunderstorms produced some lightning, moderate rain across the fire areas, particularly on the east side of the Blue Fire, and some gusty wind. As we head over the next several days, that weather is just going to continue to ease, that we're turning that dial back, and that's mostly because we have an early season rain system that's on the way. It's going to be one of the first of our kind of winter pattern systems we get around here. What I mean by that is it's going to be very widespread. It'll be mostly light but persistent rain, and that's going to start building in here Sunday night into Monday. If you're here in Happy Camp or New Orleans, you're most likely to see rain start to fall just around sunrise Monday morning. That light rain is going to continue off and on through the day Monday, and then through good chunks of the day Tuesday before it starts to pull back. Now, these early season rain systems can be pretty difficult to predict in terms of how much will fall. So there is a lot of variability. You still have a lot of dry air that's trapped around here. The canopies are dry, so how much water hits the ground in a lot of places might not be very much with these first few rains. But the most likely rainfall we're to see across most of the fire area is about a ½ an inch to 1.5 inches. Again, most of that rain is going to fall pretty steadily, so we don't have very many flood concerns. Sure, you're going to get your muddy roads, your slippery roads. These first few rains, there's oil on the roads, so they tend to be extra slippery in comparison to rains further on in the winter. So that is something to be aware of, but for the most part, we don't have any concerns. If you've ever heard of things like debris flows and things like that, we have no concerns about any of that kind of risk with the type of rain that we're going to see. Overall, that rain's going to help clear things out in the sense of clear out the air a little bit. It'll help just kind of reset everything. Our RHs are going to be very high for the next several days. Our temperature is pulling back as we have cloud cover shading things, so it should be nice, moderate conditions overall. It's not the end of summer, though. It's not the end of fire season. We are going to start getting some warmer and drier weather in here late next week. It's unsure. You know, the rain could continue into Wednesday and Thursday, but the chances decrease every one of those days. By the time we're talking by the end of the next week, we'll be warming back up. Your high is getting back into the upper 80s. RHs, those relative humidities, pulling back to the drier range, closer to 30% or so. But in the short term, we'll enjoy the rain. I'll be around in this meeting if you have any questions.
Good evening, Stuart Turner. I'm the fire behavior analyst for the team here on these fires. As a fire behavior analyst, what I do is I predict what the fire is going to do, where it's going to go, and how fast it's going to get there. And I'm looking at three things out there. I'm looking at the topography. That's the hills, the mountains, the canyons. I'm looking at the fuels. The fuels that concern me the most are the fine dead fuels. That's what actually carries the fire across the landscape, are the small 1/4 inch or less diameter twigs, blades of grass, pine needles, leaves, that type of stuff. The other thing we're looking at is the weather. You just heard an excellent update on the weather that's coming up. But I look at that and I see that we're having that drying tomorrow, and then the wind is coming in. But then we get that rain coming in, and that rain is going to be very important once it gets here, because what it's going to do is going to moisten up those fine dead fuels that the fire carries in and stop some of that spread. A lot of people ask me, well, this has got to be it. If we're going to get an inch of rain, a half inch of rain, this fire will not go out. The larger fuels, the stumps, the big logs out there that are burning right now, they will continue to burn through this rain event. They will hold that fire. They will hold that heat. And once things start drying out again on the other side of this rain event, which is coming along, then they will be available to ignite the fine dead fuels again, and the fire will start spreading around again. So let's take a look at the fires out there on the landscape. If we can get one of the fires. There we go. Hannah, thank you. So on the blue fire, where I think this is going to go in the next 24 hours, on the east side, I'm not expecting any movement until we get all the way down the very southern tip of that fire. And what we see happening here is in Bark Shanty Creek drainage, the fire's backing down, getting a little hook to it, and then it runs back up the slope and slops over the top of the ridge. And that, I think that's going to continue to happen. We'll have that button hook, if you will, going up the slope and then getting back over the top of the ridge. As we come along through the west side, we get into no-name drainage. That's backing down nicely. It's rolling out, and rollouts are when like a pine cone catches on fire or a log catches on fire, and then it rolls down the slope into the green fuels, sets those fuels on fire, and then that runs back up slope into the black. So that's happening here in No Name Canyon. That keeps running back up, but moving, backing down, spotting ever so slowly, but still progressing down slope. And then up in Salt Creek drainage, the same thing's happening there. It's rolling out, backing down, running back up. But more importantly, some of that running up is going off to the northeast on this ridge here, and that's providing that forward movement to the north. And it goes up to the top, throws some spots out, and then it starts to back down that other side of that slope. And that's going to continue. As we get around to the northeast portion, this is all locked in here. I don't think we're going to see any more movement out of that for the rest of the time, especially since the rain's coming in. And then the next fire, Hannah, please. Okay, on the Dillon fire, let's start with the winds. Here at the top of the fire on the north end, the entire north end hasn't moved for several days. These spot fires that we're looking at up in the old burn, they're going to hold tight. I don't think we're going to see any more heat coming out of those. We haven't seen heat for several days. I think they've consumed all the fuel they could find in there, and then they put themselves out. Along the creek, no movement is expected there. As we get over here to what we call the Dillon spot, there's still a little bit of heat in there, a little bit of fire left in the larger fuels. That's just going to continue to smolder and probably will hold itself through this rain event. Not expecting any kind of perimeter growth there, nor along the entire eastern side, and even coming down to the southern end, I don't anticipate any growth out of there. Now, where I do think we're going to see some more growth is down here in Rock Creek. We're still backing down off that slope, getting down into Rock Creek. It's getting down to the creek, locking in there. The crews have been in there, checking it up. But it's really not wanting to progress through that drainage. And then once the rain comes in, that'll help lock that down even tighter. Then the big movement is going to be up here above Cedar Creek. And the fire's gotten on top of the ridge and above Cedar Creek, and it's starting to go over the ridge down into Coffee Can. And that's been backing down in that nice and slow. However, right here on this little slope up there, there is a hill there, a mountaintop, and it's going to run up that and continue to run up that on all of those. So you'll see that kind of grow out to the north and northwest. So that takes us all the way around the Dillon fire. So that's what's going to happen, I think, on those two fires over the next 24 hours. And I'll be around if you have any questions. Thank you.
Good evening, Jason Prentice, Air Resource Advisor. One of my roles here at the fire is to look at smoke and its impacts on air quality for you all, the general public. To do that, we issue smoke outlooks each morning. These outlooks contain information on air quality impacts by time of day. That way it allows you a better idea of how you can plan your activities, especially if you're smoke sensitive. These outlooks can be found at fire.airnow.gov. Now, as far as smoke for the near future here, next 24 hours will probably be much of the same as we saw the past 24 hours. The caveat to that might be this evening, we did have some of that weather move over the Blue Fire. That may cause some variable conditions in there. But overall, Selmsbar, Orleans, and Hoopa expect to see continued good air quality for the most part with little to no smoke. Happy Camp over to Hamburg, and even further east towards the community of Klamath River, you can expect primarily unhealthy air quality over the next 24 hours, especially true for Hamburg, which may even see some periods of very unhealthy conditions. Moving further east, Quartz Valley, Scott Valley, and even out towards Wairika, you can expect to see unhealthy air quality for this evening and overnight hours before we see some improvements to tomorrow during the day. Etna, and even further to the southeast, some smoke will be expected, especially for that Etna community, but by and large, better conditions for a return for tomorrow afternoon. Looking even further ahead, Monday, we do have that weather coming in. I expect to see smoke conditions improve greatly with that. So we can all look forward to those improvements there. But again, for those air quality outlooks, as well as current air quality conditions, you can visit fire.airnow.gov. Thanks.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Josh Eichhammer. I'm one of the operations chiefs with California Team 1. We're going to start today on the Blue Fire. As far as our operational actions, again, resources remain fully committed in the SIAD area working on structure protection. We feel really good there. We've got a good plan, been in place for multiple days. That work has occurred in Walker Creek, Grider Creek roads, up off Ladd Road, again in the Syad Valley area, Syad Creek, moving down along Highway 96 all the way down to Hamburg. We've had folks spread out and taking a good look, making sure we're prepared if this fire moves out. Coming into the operation today and where we've been focusing a lot of our energy, closest to town, folks are working on a little bit of indirect line, or what we call parallel line, trying to help bring fire down and secure it along the Walker Creek Road. Efforts further along the road include the same, going direct and securing fire along the fire or the road's edge. Up here in the bowl to the south, we have resources that have been cutting up today. Out of the bottom, off the road, we've got dozer line installed about to the upper third of the slope there. So some really good work today and really challenging terrain. On the other side of this bowl to the south, we had multiple hotshot crews insert today and start to go direct. They were successful in cutting around multiple spot fires that had progressed down to the west, and they've progressed, basically starting to come down around and into the bowl. And we anticipate they're going to be continuing those direct actions into tomorrow with a good probability of success. Good probability of success in here over the next 24 to 48 hours. Coming around to the the west side of the fire continues to progress and back down in multiple areas towards Grider Creek. Crews have continued to try and get in there redundantly over the last 5 days of this fire. As a matter of fact, all the way back to the initial attack in the Type 3 team, and we're really being challenged by both terrain, high density snags, and a very high fuel load in there that's making it challenging for direct attack. So we continue to look at opportunities to connect dots in here and go direct where we can, and we are evaluating opportunities further out in anticipation of not being successful there with direct attack, so that we have a good alternative plan. To date, investments have been continued on the Grider Ridge Road. Things are looking, or Grider Ridge, excuse me. Things are looking really good in here. We've got hose out. We've got prep that's been done. Resources are spread out, and really talking about being prepared to hold fire should they have to do that in the coming days. Coming around to the south end of this fire, we continue to scout and look for opportunities where we can come across and connect the dots if we have to between Grider Creek from Grider Ridge all the way back to Walker Peak on the south piece of the fire. So that work is ongoing and will commence as we are able to reallocate fire resources from our priorities up where our critical values at risk are. With that, I'll be available afterwards if there's any questions specific to the Blue Fire, and we can move over to the Dillon. Okay, on the Dillon fire today, I'm going to start up in the Dillon spot is what we call it. It's a spot fire that occurred on the east side of the river at the confluence of Dillon Creek. That area has been lined and contained and continues to burn out. The risk of that fire progressing is diminishing every day, but we're not done keeping an eye on that. We'll have people staffed in there over the next couple days, making sure that there is no risk before we move out from that area. Coming down Highway 96, we did have a little bit of heat today in the confluence of Dillon Creek, where some unburned fuels were starting to consume. That's a tricky area. That's what resulted in our spot. So we did fly some aviation in there today, and we're going to be working some crews in there tomorrow to mop that up, make sure that's nice and secure, and we don't have any further threat of spot fires across the 96. Coming down, you can see along the 96 corridor all the way to T-bar structures, we put black line along the edge of the Klamath. So things are looking really good there. We don't anticipate any fire probability of spotting out all the way over to the T-bar structures. Working the T-bar structures continues to focus on making sure we're mitigating any remaining hazards and starting to really look at backhaul, cleanup, and bringing some stability back to the community so we can get folks back in and bring some normalcy back to their lives. Moving down along the 96 corridor, further down to the south, we've evaluated structures, have a good plan in place, all the way down to Soames Bar if we do have further fire progression to the south or east. And coming into Rock Creek on the south end of this fire, folks have continued to implement a direct strategy in here with good success. They've been challenged. We've had some spot fires, and this is really, really arduous terrain. And we've had some, again, outstanding work in there. So we've got black line about up to here today. That's showing containment for us as we continue to gain ground. And that's due, again, to some outstanding work from the firefighters on the ground. And they have engaged all the way out to the nose of the fire's edge down here to the south, caught multiple spot fires and are holding their own in there. So again, we're optimistic that we're going to continue to hold this in place, vying a significant weather change or a thunder cell that really blows out overhead. Things are looking good. Coming around the corner on the west side of this, all the way back up along this flank here, we haven't seen a lot of movement in here. We do have some spot fires that have moved around, and it's hung up in some old fire scars. So crews are looking at opportunities to get in there, go direct, cut that out, and just put it to bed and be done with the risk. The alternative to that, if they're not able to cut it out direct and plan, is to hold it along Rock Creek. But right now we anticipate in the plan, according to our field operations, is that we're going to try and go in and get that tomorrow, continue to try and really reduce any risk here. Coming up around the horn to the north and west flank of this chunk of fire continues to progress. We're still working on where the best lines are and best way to approach this section of fire, where we do have some really challenging terrain and fuels that haven't seen fire in a long time. So that work will continue, and we'll look forward to reporting more in the coming days on our efforts there. Coming across Dillon Creek to the north, these spot fires are looking really good. We anticipate that the risk of those is going to continue to diminish as far as their ability to spread, and we're hoping that those over the next coming days will actually end up going black just due to recon and IR. And again, that's due to sitting in the vicinity of fire scars from 2013. So we're pretty confident that's going to stay in place, following a significant wind event in the near term. We do have resources, again, prepared and continuing to evaluate implementing line down from up north, coming down to Pony Peak and cutting over to Highway 96. So that's another project that we're going to be prepared to put in place, that folks are continuing to move resources around and get ready to implement. And the reason for that is, if this fire was to cross Dillon Creek, which is looking really good right now, we want to make sure that we have a good plan in place to protect resources along the 96 and prevent some of the additional kind of spot fire issues that we've had, that we had over here in Dillon Creek. So that's in a report for the Blue Fire. And again, I'll be available afterwards if there's any questions for you. Thank you.
Good evening. Are you able to hear me?
Next, we will have a representative from Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. It's Under Sheriff James Randall for the Sheriff's Department. First, I want to say thank you to Team 1 and to the Yellow Team JA Media for everything. The communication's been outstanding. All of your hard work has not gone unnoticed. It's done a great job. One of the things I just want to reiterate to the community and everybody else is that we are constantly evaluating based off of the information that we're getting from our firefighting counterparts and our OES counterparts for the safety of everybody in the communities. We want to stress that even though there hasn't been a lot of growth, mainly like on the blue to the north, there still has been growth. And that's one of our biggest concerns is the community of Syad right now. We've managed to get through a lot of the really difficult forecasted weather periods, which is great. But I know that we still have a little bit of a road ahead that we have to get through. And once we can get through that period, we can start looking at changing some zones. Other than that, I really don't have anything else other than if there's any questions, I can try and answer them.
Good evening. My name's Jerry McGowan. I'm one of the incident commanders for California Team 1 and the management of the 3 fires that we have. On those 3 fires, we approximately have about 2,000 people on those fires, with 2 camps, one over in Orleans and one here at Happy Camp. And with those, we were working closely with the Sheriff's Department, OES, to make sure that we're all coordinated and they're up to date with all the information that we could provide them. Our goal is to also provide you folks with as much information. So there's trap lines out there within the communities, and there's also Facebook and daily operational briefings every day to try to keep you updated with as much information as we can. And with that, I'm open to the questions and all that stuff there.
Thank you. Now we'll go into our question and answers. And I do have one question so far. So a reminder, if you would like to ask a question, please feel free to put it into the Facebook post in a comment under the live stream video, and we'd be happy to get to that question for you. The first question is, why hasn't the Blue Fire been hit hard with air resources and aggressive fire line building on the ridge above Syad and the Grider Creek Road, Highway 96 junction.
Okay. Well, I'll take this one. Can we bring back up the operations map for the blue fire, please? All right. So the fire has been hit hard every day, all day, when we've had the ability to fly aviation and do work. So I'll just reiterate that. Period. End of report. So we're using every tool at our disposal that we can safely fly when we can fly it to suppress this fire. Any further questions, we'd be happy to work on some summary statistics of, again, the amount of water and retardant we've dropped there. I don't have those talking points here today. Challenges with flying daily, is associated with smoke, resource availability. So our aviation does get diverted based on new priorities. We've had a tremendous amount of initial attack in the state of California over the last 7 days or so, as most folks are aware. And so there also is an availability issue that we need to navigate amongst the different priorities that does at times take away our ability to fly aviation when we would like to fly it. Another piece of that is we fly aviation for the right reason in the right place. So we're not going to put aviation in a place often where we can't back it up, or we're not ready to use it that day. So that's that kind of tactical chess match as we work throughout the system, where the firefighters will call in the helicopters to drop water when they're ready to do that. We have mobile retardant plants in place, so the helicopters can come in and drop retardant with surgical precision if we need to do that. In addition, on the larger indirect lines that we've prepped, we may use retardant along those lines when the time comes to hold them, but now is not that time. So we wouldn't be doing a lot of that work right now. We want to wait till the time is right to execute the plan. In regards to your question around Syad, the ridge system here, it's prepped, plumbed, and ready to be held. So we've been working up there since, the forest and the Type 3 team was working up there before we actually assumed command of that. So I did miss that in my update today as I talked about Grider Ridge specifically. And to reiterate, the work over here on Syad Ridge has been robust for some time. We're prepared up there if the fire does cross Walker Creek. Again, we think we got a good plan down here to hold it, but our job is to have a secondary plan, and that is the Syad Ridge. As you can see on the operations map as well, we've completed hand line down from Syad back down to the 96. And when you look out further on these operations maps, you can see these pink lines here. Right? And these are areas where we're looking, again, even further out beyond that secondary plan to make sure that we have a good option should this fire progress and threaten critical values at risk further down Highway 96. So I hope that answers the question. And again, I'll be available if there's any others in relation to our actions utilizing aviation and aggressive attack on this fire. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm not seeing any additional questions at this time online. So if there are no additional questions, Hannah, if you could just put our contact information on the last slide up, please. So we will not be having a community meeting tomorrow. We will be having a community meeting on the 8th, Monday at 6 p.m. at the Karuk DNR building. And that is in Orleans. So we will see you there and it will also be live streamed. As well. And so you can also reach us. Our phone numbers are manned from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and the phone numbers are up here on the screen. And you can also reach us via email or comments on Facebook. And it looks like we did have one additional question come in. And that question is, what will the fire retardant do to our water systems?
So in regards to fire retardant use, I can't speak to the public safety side of that. Aside from that, it is a tool that we use. We have what's called a retardant avoidance expectations, and those are things that are in place for both our aviators and fixed wing and our aviators and the helicopters. And so that really is, generally speaking, a buffer along what we call riparian zones, and again, they're the tributaries and the fish-bearing streams. So we strive to get it right all the time. as you can imagine, flying an air tanker at a couple hundred miles an hour coming into a fire, it doesn't always, we don't always get it right. And if that happens, we have a requirement to report what we would call in aviation like a retardant misapplication. And so there's a process for upward reporting there. Again, I'd encourage you. And actually, I think we could do a little research and maybe get something posted in the chat around where you might reference some information around the health impacts of retardant for folks again in their water systems. It's not something I can professionally speak to, and again, I think I'm seeing some head nods. But that would be, I guess, the piece that I would share is again, we have an expectation to keep that out of the waterways, and that is what we're striving to do.
Okay, and with that, I don't see any additional questions. But again, the Blue Fire can be followed on the Klamath National Forest Facebook page, and the Dillon Fire is on the Six Rivers National Forest Facebook page. And so we do monitor those, and you can reach out to us via our phone number or email, and we will continue to follow up on the retardant question as well. So with that, I hope you have a great evening, and we will see you on the 8th at 6 p.m. at the Karuk DNR building in Orleans, if you can be there or be online. Thank you.